Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Saturday, February 5, 2022. The sun is in Aquarius, as is Saturn for the next year or more. So, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and also by Uranus, but especially by Saturn at this time. Aquarius is, the sort of out of the box thinker of the group. It is the revolutionary, the one that cares about the structures and foundations that support us and cares about our responsibility to those. But furthermore, also cares enough to look at them and see what can be refined, what needs to be replaced, and is willing to put in the work to make the changes and transformations on the social level to make sure that everybody has the support that they need. So Aquarius the Revolutionary has a heart full of love and connection for the entire human collective. But, the message that I received in reflecting on this morning was that we should not forget to nurture the existing friendships, relationships, networks, and bonds that we have. Those are the people, after all, who are going to show up for us when the revolution begins. And the moon is in Aries, so you've got a revolutionary Aquarius and you've got pioneering Aries for the inner life here. Pioneering Aries loves a fresh start and tends to focus on its own experience, especially like in our heart and home when the moon is in Aries. It's initiative from the heart. It has to do with our home space. It has to do with our bodies and our personal experience. But again, the guidance that I received was that we shouldn't forget to also celebrate those allies who connect with us for mutual success, right? Friendship is foundational. So, in focusing on ourselves and our own success and the fresh starts that we're trying to make, let's remember also to regard those people whose success depends on ours and whose fresh starts sort of happen in alignment with ours. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, and the moon is a waxing crescent, so I'm gonna say that we're still in the planning phase. Okay, we set some intentions with the new moon, and now we are making our plans. We are giving thought to what it's going to look like when our intentions and goals are manifested, when they come into fruition. And we really want to see some at least short-term goals met by the full moon so that we have some expression there, some reason to celebrate. So at this point in the lunar cycle, we're in this planning phase. And next Tuesday with the first quarter moon, we'll switch from planning into action. Okay, so now let's take a look at the planets that we have on the page today so we have some idea what the energies are. Sun is always at the top of the page, and the sun represents your outer life. This is who you are, especially in your social, civic, and work life. The person that people first get to know when they meet you. And then following the sun is the moon. The moon is more about your inner life, your relationship with yourself, not just with your heart and mind, but also with your body. Okay, so those things you think, feel, know, and intuit, how you feel, and also who you are in your home space. Mercury is on the page today. Mercury represents the personal intellect, especially your day-to-day thoughts, plans, and communications that you make, as well as the running around that you do. Venus is here, and Venus represents our relationship to those people and things that we like, love, and can't get enough of. In other words, love and money. Or how do we expend ourselves toward those things we care about the most? Mars is on the page. Mars represents your personal sense of initiative, whatever that fire is in your gut that gets you personally going today. And it's funny, I was making out this legend, and instead of writing Mars, I just wrote September. So I left it there because I have a question about what's going to be happening with Mars in September. I'm probably going to go in after this and go take a look at that. Saturn is on the page. Saturn represents the structures and networks that we rely on for our support and validation, and our responsibility or our duty to maintain those structures. Saturn has been all over the page lately, so you've probably heard me say that about 1,000,000 times, and you're going to hear me say it some more. Pluto is on the page, and Pluto represents transformation. It brings us through these high highs and low lows of experiences, and through those experiences, we're transformed to evolve to hopefully the next level of our personal humanity and our collective humanity as well. Uranus comes along and asks what we can do differently, and so brings with it some change. Chiron is not a planet, it's an asteroid, and it relates to our capacity to heal as well as what it is that we are healing. We have some other energies going on the page today. I will address those as we come to them. The page is divided into 2 columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our inner lives, our experience of ourself and our experience in the home space. And these transits have more to do with like ambient energies that might affect your moods, impulses, intuitions. And then on the sun side of the page, the sun sheds light on our outer lives, our work, social, and civic lives. And I address the rest of the aspects on this side because they take longer and they have more to do with who we are in the outer life. And we start with the moon today, Central Standard Time, friends, at 6:46 in the morning. The moon makes a square with Venus. So moon in aspect with Venus normally has us feeling really open and receptive, sentimental, affectionate, but with that square, challenging aspect coming in addition to being sentimental, receptive, and affectionate, we might be also a little moody and self-indulgent. Venus in its let's say less attractive light can be a little bit combative to receive what it wants. Battling with loved ones can be exhausting, so at this time, please go easy on yourself and others. I'm going to add to this that this aspect is always a self-care challenge. So, if you can't find that attention and affection you're looking for in the people that are around you, especially in your heart and home, find it within yourself. Pour that affection and love on yourself. Give yourself what you want in order to feel as though you are supported and loved and cared for. And then in the afternoon at 2:22, the moon makes a sextile aspect with Saturn. Now, Saturn, like I said, has been ruling the day very much. And, it does have to do with those foundational structures and networks that we rely on for validation and support. It speaks to our structural integrity and our sense of duty. And when the moon is in aspect with Saturn, especially this sextile aspect with Saturn, we're going to feel some way about those structures and networks. And that sextile aspect makes it cooperative between our heart and home and those structures. So at this time, we're likely to feel protective and practical in the heart and home. We seek to secure what is here with us and make it feel like it is supported. Share generously with those people you keep close, especially in the home, and delight in their security and success. You're a part of it, after all. Okay, and then on the sun side of the page, in the ongoing column, we have Mercury in conjunct with Pluto. And Mercury in conjunct with Pluto brings a depth and intensity to our thought processes, our communications, the plans that we make. Right now, Mercury came out of retrograde a couple of days ago now, and yesterday, the last couple of days, I kind of advised to take a break, to pat yourself on the back for any progress in these transformations that you have made, and sort of sit back and allow the clarity and inspiration to come in. And the message I got this morning is that clarity and inspiration are beginning to come in now. We need our wits about us as this evolution comes in. Okay, we got to have our intellect in a very clear, concise place as we go through these transformations, so that we can consciously go through these transformations. I think it would be better to consciously evolve and consciously go through your transformations than it would be to just let them happen to you. There's a little bit of letting it happen that has to go on here, because transformation is inevitable. We're all going to grow up one way or the other. But if we can bring our consciousness, and if we can play on those inspirations and the clarity that are coming in toward our transformation, I think we're gonna see some success with that, whatever that means for you. And then also in the ongoing column, we have Mars sextile Chiron. And I don't know if you can see this. I have a piece of paper that I taped down here because I mistook this for a different aspect, and I wrote a whole different set of ideas down for it, but it didn't really apply. So I went back and redid it. When Mars is in relationship with Chiron, it's about taking action and initiative, this desire to take action and initiative toward healing something, toward getting over something, getting past something. With the sextile aspect, it's a cooperative feeling, cooperative vibration between those two planetary bodies. So at this time, we're pioneering solutions with assertive action. That's Mars, pioneering and assertive action, and Chiron is solutions. So sometimes the best way over an obstacle is to go around it. That's the guidance I received. We don't always have to go over or through. Sometimes we can just go around. Not all obstacles can be addressed in the moment as we're trying to make progress and move forward. Even the tough choices probably will come easily at this time. So if there's something you have to move away from or go around, don't think of it as an avoidance. Think of it as putting a pin in it and making our progress anyway. And I really see this as being tied up with the progress we're trying to make here with Mercury conjunct Pluto, which will be with us through the 12th. This is day 2 of 4 for this one. So, keep that in mind, that not all the problems have to be solved as we move forward. Some of those problems will be easier to solve once we have made our progression. And then today, on the sun side of the page, the sun is sextile with the moon at 4:17 p.m. And this is an indicator of the lunar phase. It says we're halfway between that new moon that we had a few days ago and this first quarter moon that's coming up. So it's a building on this planning vibe that we're getting. At this time, we have increased emotional energy and we're balanced between our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. So we know what we want, we know how to get it, we know how to work with others to get it. This is a good position from which to fight for this healing and transformation that we're going through. Okay, and that's all of the aspects today. Tomorrow we have Mars square Chiron coming up. So, as we're in this mode of pioneering solutions with assertive action, we're going to also come into this mode of sort of challenges with pioneering those solutions, challenges with getting around the obstacles, challenges with making those tough choices. And And often what comes in with this is some anger and resentment, where we're feeling those old wounds, the things that people did in the past to hurt us. And it may be, a choice we'd like to make or would feel better about making, just uh, to stay angry, to remain in that resentment. But we really, we gotta push past that resentment, because harboring negative feelings doesn't help us heal the wounds that we're trying to get over or around. Okay, so we're still looking at those obstacles that are in our way. And one way to get around something, even if you can't heal it all the way, one way to get around or over something that is an obstacle in your life, like a past injury, some sort of anger or resentment you have for something that happened in the past, is just to deal with your resentment, deal with your anger, and perhaps that in some way dissolves the obstacle a little bit and makes it easier for you to move around. Don't be so focused on the mountain you're trying to go around. Just remain focused on your path forward. That's tomorrow, and we'll talk about it more tomorrow when it comes up. Also, coming up on Tuesday, we have the first quarter moon in Taurus, which will advise us to go ahead with our plans and begin taking the actions and making the calls, putting in the footwork to find some manifestation of our goals. Also on Tuesday, Mars will make a trine with Uranus. So there's all this Mars initiative energy, and there's some positive aspects, there's some challenging aspects, but there's a lot of initiative coming in. And this is the point where I'm going to point out that if the sun is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn, Saturn is also in Aquarius right now. Saturday is Saturn's day. Okay, the sun is ruled by Saturn. Mercury, Venus, and Mars are all in Capricorn, which is also ruled by Saturn. Okay, we're talking about that grounded initiative. We're talking about that focus on structural integrity and our sense of duty. Pluto is also in Capricorn, so it is ruled by Saturn right now. These transformations that we're going through have everything to do with our sense of structural integrity. So here's Saturn, and here's Saturn, and here, ironically, Chiron is in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Here's Saturn, and here is Saturn, and Saturn, of course, is Saturn. Here, here, there, and there. Okay? So again, Saturn is all over the page, and we are very much deep in these themes of structural integrity, the networks we rely on for support and validation, our responsibility, our sense of duty to maintain, to shore up, to strengthen. And when it comes to Aquarius, there's this revolutionary mind also toward replacing the parts that aren't working or trying new solutions to feel supported and strong in our foundations. So, right. Mars is going to make this trine aspect with Uranus coming up on Tuesday, and that's going to be like a positive initiative toward making changes. And then coming up on Friday, we see the second iteration of Mercury conjunct Pluto. They've been together all this time. Mercury was in retrograde before, and now it's gone direct, and moving back toward that conjunct with Pluto. And then after that, Mercury will go into Aquarius, and Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so they will be out of a conjunct. So we're going to be dealing with that through the 12th. And, again, this is depth and intensity to our communications, our plans, and our thoughts, and the communication, the running around, the gear we're using, all of that stuff. So that is it for today's aspects. If you've come this far, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like my video, subscribe to my channel, share this with somebody you think it will resonate with, especially if you think they can get some help from the ideas expressed here. And at this point, I am in the habit of throwing a tarot card at the end of my aspects. First, I'm going to talk about this tarot card that's on the side. We are in the second third of the sun's transit, 30-day transit through Aquarius. And the second third is represented by the Six of Swords. Again, swords are like Mercury. They're about your thoughts, plans, and communications. And, you know, sometimes, and they're short, they're sharp. It's a double edge, right? Like we can use our words to cut through the bullshit and improve things. We can use our thoughts and plans to see what needs to change and communicate and plan in order to fix things. But we can also use those thoughts, plans, and communications to cut ourselves down or to cut other people down. So we've got to be careful about how we're using that double-edged sword. And in the Six of Swords, it's like maybe we haven't been careful, or maybe somebody hasn't been careful with us. In any case, you know, Five of Swords indicated that there was some sort of challenge that we were part of. And in this case, it's about moving away from, moving around those hurts, those obstacles, and getting clear so you can have some perspective, get some clarity and inspiration, and make better thoughts, plans, and communications going forward. As for the cards that I'm shuffling right now, I'm just going to remind myself and the cards that the Sun and Saturn are in Aquarius, that we are in a waning, waxing crescent phase of the moon with the moon in Aries, which tells me heart-centered pioneering and initiative. We've got kind of a balanced load on the lunar side, heavy on the Saturn influence, heavy on the themes of structural integrity and our sense of duty on both sides of the page. And we're going through some changes. We're trying to heal some things. We're trying to make a transformation in our lives, evolve and grow up a little bit. This is a point where we all get to do that. So I think that's really positive, even if it is challenging and somewhat intense, right? So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and throw this card right here. Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups, you know, speaks to sort of a satisfaction with what we have achieved, especially as far as our emotions and intuitions have gone. We've achieved a lot. We don't feel very, we're not feeling that resentment and that anger. We're actually feeling pretty just satisfied. And, you know, this is Nine of Cups comes after the Eight of Cups, where there's this sense of dissatisfaction and sort of abandoning something that didn't work for us. But now we found something that works for us. And, you know, it's okay to pat yourself on the back. It's okay to give yourself a little treat and just sit back and enjoy that sense of satisfaction that, you know, you have been working on yourself emotionally and intuitively. You've been doing the inner work, and you have come to a point where you can afford to appreciate and enjoy that success. And I think that's where I stand on that for now. So I'm going to leave you here. My name is Melanie Rose. Thank you so much for showing up to view your daily aspects. I appreciate your input. If you want to leave a thought, any thoughts, questions, communications, if any of this brings anything up for you that you'd like to share, I'm always open to that conversation. And I will see you all back here tomorrow for more daily aspects.